Welcome to my Vision News. Some news stories for you. First one is about a letter written from Ethiopian Orthodox Church to Federal High Court, which is hearing a case filed by the Orthodox Church against Oromo Orthodox splinter faction, which signed an agreement with the main Orthodox Church a few days ago. What is this letter about? And secondly, Tegrai military command. Does it exist now? When Tegrai military has surrendered heavy weapons and Tegrai fighters are at camps, disengagement is ongoing, reintegration of Tegrai fighters is going to happen. Tegrai military command issued a statement today. It is a warning that a smear campaign is underway against Tegrai military command, against Tegrai military officers. Does it mean there are splits in Tegrai, within Tegrai's military elite, which I hinted at in a video, if you remember, yesterday? Thirdly, Afar Somali clashes, viewers. So for the last 2 years, I've been reporting on this border conflict between these two neighboring regions. Since yesterday, heavy fighting has been ongoing between Afars and Somalis. And lastly, a Protestant pastor and a journalist has been released from prison who were arrested when Orthodox Church followers were arrested in large numbers a few days ago by Ethiopian government. Firstly, viewers, Orthodox Church of Ethiopia has written a letter to the Federal High Court bench, which is hearing Orthodox Church's case. Orthodox Church around 2 weeks ago filed a case with this bench asking the court to pass direction to Oromia regional government, to Oromia police, Ethiopian federal police, to ensure that church properties in Oromia are not taken over by a splinter faction, which is not a splinter faction, the church claims, but it was but the titles of the archbishops and bishops of this faction had been revoked by the church. That is why church moved the court, and court passed a provisional decision a few days ago. The court stopped Oromia region-based Orthodox faction from taking over churches in Oromia. But the churches they have taken over already, they are there performing their services there. And after that, we saw an agreement signed between Oromia splinter faction and main Orthodox Church, facilitated by PM Abiy's government. Now, case is still pending. The Federal High Court is going to pass a verdict. It's going to make final decision. Before that, Orthodox Church has written a letter to the court. Now, Church says that the 3 archbishops have been reinstated. One is Serios, one is Statios, one is Xenomorphos, that their titles, which were revoked, have been reinstated. Now, 3 archbishops are part of Orthodox Church of Ethiopia, but appointees, the 25 priests who were appointed as bishops by these 3 archbishops, they are not obeying church orders. They are violating church orders. In violation of church orders, they are still in control of churches in Oromia. So their titles have not been restored. So Orthodox Church today took a position about appointees. that appointees have not been restored. And it is one of the demands of Orthodox Church faction from Oromia that appointees' ranks should be respected. Ranks as bishops. They were appointed as bishops by the splinter faction. So now when church has taken this position, made public, what will the other faction do? And the three archbishops, Unesarios, Vostrotius, and Zinemorkos, is it that their appointees are defying them, or the three archbishops are playing double game? They are supporting the appointees, and on the other hand, they are supporting the Orthodox Church as well. They're saying they'll respect the agreement. So it means there are still unresolved issues in Oromia. The churches taken by Oromia Orthodox splinter faction are still under the control of those bishops who were appointed by the splinter faction. Let's see what court decides. And let's see how these appointees and three archbishops respond to this letter. Secondly, Tegrai military command still exists. During the last 2 years, several times we saw statements from Tegrai military command, from Tegrai central command. Tegrai military command was formed, obviously, after the start of war in northern Ethiopia. Tegrai Central Command was formed as well, and Tegrai military political leaders were part of Tegrai Central Command. Tegrai Military Command issued a statement a few hours ago. Now, when Tegrai forces have surrendered heavy weapons, Tegrai forces have withdrawn from battlefronts, it means that Tegrai Military Command still exists. And the statement has been shared by Tegrai External Affairs Bureau as well. It means that DWTV2, it means that Tegrai regional government is backing the statement. Tegrai military command is intact. Tegrai military command today claimed that a smear campaign is underway against Tegrai army officers, military officers. That some institutions in opposition are sharing false information about Tegrai military. It should stop. Now, it seems that Tegrai military elite has split. I think I reported in some videos yesterday and on day before yesterday that two camps seem to be merging. Varade camp, which is in alliance with TPLF, and Sadkan camp. Opposition parties, three parties which have rejected Tadase Varade-led committee to create consensus for interim government establishment in Tigray, is backing Sadkan. Sadkan, in some of his talks, called for reform. He said TPLF will have to face revolt or reform. Tadase Varade is supportive of TPLF. That is why we are seeing this split, you can say. You can call it a difference of opinion or split, whatever it is. But since Tegrai military command issued a statement today, it means that it's a serious issue. It's not just a rumor. There was no need to dispel a rumor. If it was a rumor, it isn't a rumor. There are issues. Opposition parties are raising questions about those Tegrai military officers who are part of this 11-member committee formed by the government to create consensus for establishment of interim government in Tigray. Tadase Varade has become controversial, and two other Tegrai officers as well, Tegrai military officers, were part of this committee. So there are issues. It means how serious is the split, that remains to be seen. Tegrai needs some neutral intervention for the formation of interim government. I think issues are now emerging, gaps are widening. Tadase Varade has failed to create consensus Who will create consensus for establishment of intergovernmental? That remains to be seen. Thirdly, viewers, Afar Somali clash resumed on Tuesday. Since Tuesday morning, heavy fighting has been ongoing between Afar and Somalis. Mostly fighting has been reported from Siti zone, western Siti zone. Large area is affected, and some people say that several have been killed in this fighting and several dozen injured. But no statement from the federal government, from regional government as well. Why is that this issue is unresolved for years? I have done dozens of videos on these clashes. You see clashes, dozens die, then you see a calm for a few days, and then clash resume. A few months ago, they fought over Undofo. Afar forces took control of Undofo. Ethnic Somalis were displaced from Undofo to Siti. But issue is still unresolved. Afar is accused Djibouti. The Djibouti is interfering in this conflict, backing Somali Isas. And Somali Isas accuse Afar government and Ethiopian government. The Ethiopian government is supporting Afar region. Whatever the case is, people are dying. It's not that regional forces are dying, locals, tribal people are dying in this conflict, and no solution in sight. Lastly, viewers, Pastor Benyam Shetai has been released from prison. Protestant pastor who was arrested a few days ago after he was quoted by some journalists that he had talked to Abu Nesarios, and Abu Nesarios said that he was ready to apologize to the church. And he was arrested. He was accused of spreading conflict. Secondly, Thaddeus Fao has also been released for 30,000 Ethiopian birrs. Released on bail, though he was granted bail a few days ago, but he was not released. Rather, his brother was arrested, his YouTube channel worker was arrested, but today Thaddeus Fao was released from prison reportedly. Thank you for watching.